Dune. This is the highly anticipated science fiction film directed by Denis Villeneuve. It's based on the incredibly popular novel of the same name. This movie is a big deal to a lot of people. And before I get into what I thought, I want to talk about that because many people, regardless of how I feel about this, are going to fall in love with this movie and fall in love with this world. There have been hundreds upon hundreds of declarations that this is the next Star Wars, that this is the next Lord of the Rings. And I'm happy that people are really digging on it. The reception for this thus far has been incredible, and it does a lot of things right. This is a visual masterclass. I have problems with this movie. I have severe problems with this movie, but I would not be angry if Denis Villeneuve got nominated for Best Director because from a visual standpoint, this is something that we've never seen before. It is a glorious film to look at with excellent shot composition and impressive cinematography. On a technical level, this is about as good as it gets. I think Hans Zimmer's score for this is excellent as well. This film strikes me as incredibly faithful to its source material, and because of that, it's difficult for me to criticize it. I feel very similar to this as to how I felt about Zack Snyder's cut of Justice League, where it's like, look, if you love these characters, and you love this source material, and you love this world, you're going to love this movie, and I mean, what kind of person would I be to rip on somebody for loving a piece of fiction or a piece of art? I view that as an enormous waste of time. And I'm walking that line right now because I really want to be fair with this because I was very excited for this movie. And I am not fond at all of YouTube channels and film critics who get joy out of declaring that they dislike a film that many people are enjoying. Those people, not just in the world of film and film criticism, those people just in the overall grand scheme of things are the worst kind of people. And this is where things are really, really difficult for me. And I watched this movie a day and a half ago, and I've been struggling, putting this review together because I don't like this movie at all. I am thrilled that people like this. I didn't. Denis Villeneuve is a brilliant director with a fantastic eye for visuals, but I don't like his movies very much. I have not seen Blade Runner 2049. I don't think that I would care for it. And here's where people are really going to kill me. I'm not that fond of the first Blade Runner that much, to be completely honest with you. But I can't give my opinion on that movie. But a lot of his other stuff, while visually brilliant, visually unlike anything we've ever seen, a lot of his other movies are bloated and dull and lifeless and boring. That's not always his fault because he doesn't write his scripts, but I think his movies are poorly paced. In regards to world building and story structure, this movie should have had at least one more draft of the script. And I use the word boring a lot. I probably use it too much, but I find most movies boring. And when I say that, I want to explain the parameters of that because I think that it is at points a cop-out just to say, oh, it was boring, I didn't like it. Boredom to me stems from an inability to become emotionally connected to the characters and the story. From a visual standpoint, if you want to make the Star Wars comparison, I think that's fair because visually it really is something that we've never seen before. But if we're talking story and characters, this is so much more closer to the Star Wars prequels than it is to the original Star Wars trilogy. This should have been one movie. I know they're trying to make a Dune Part 2. We'll see what happens there. I'll talk more about that in a second, but this is a 2.5-hour film that to me could have been condensed into 45 minutes to an hour. I mean, there is so much nothing that happens in this movie. It's why I do get bothered when people say that this is the new Star Wars. It's the new Lord of the Rings, because those films and those series, at least the original versions of those series, knew what they were. They had very straightforward premises, but they set up fantastic worlds that really built around endearing, fun, great characters. Here, this is a science fiction epic that tries to build around its visuals. It's pretty to look at, but when the moments of consequence come, you feel nothing. This movie feels like 2.5 hours of deleted scenes. It's disjointed, it's dull, it's lifeless, it's empty, it's hollow. I can't think of any more superlatives. I just really couldn't stand it. This is, and before I get into my rating here, I have to say I'm having a little bit of an existential crisis regarding these reviews. I love watching and I love reviewing movies. It's one of my favorite things to do. I do think I'm good at it, but I'm a big believer in self-awareness. And while I don't retract any of the opinions that I've had here, I feel like as an audience member, it is not fun to watch somebody who reviews movies and dislikes and or hates 80 to 90% of the movies that he sees. I mean, this film was tailor-made for me. On paper, it had everything in it that I could have possibly wanted, and yet I still don't like it at all. And I hate being that guy. I hate being Mr. Contrarian. I don't like being the outlier, and it's why I've said many times in this review that I don't want to ruin anybody's fun. I'm simply giving my opinion, but at the same time, I'm starting to feel like Stan Marsh in that episode of South Park where everything just looks and seems and feels like shit.
Coming June something.
Oh, come on, people.
Because, I don't know, maybe I just need to get into a better headspace when I see some of these movies. If they make a Dune Part 2, I will not watch it. And that is not some self-righteous, I'm going to boycott this movie because those people suck and I hate them. I won't watch it because it's clear this isn't a universe I like. And the only reason I would see it was so I could come back and tell people that they're wrong for enjoying it. And that's a tremendous waste of time. So I'm not going to do it. I give Dune a 4 out of 10. This is as disappointed as I've been in a movie in a really, really long time. It did nothing for me. I think a lot of people are going to love it and cherish it. It will probably become a science fiction classic. And I think that's cool. Not my vibe, man. Just not my vibe. All right. You can follow me on Twitter at Castellani2014. While you're at it, I mean, watching this review, you're probably not going to do this, but hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Let's get those watch hours up, up, up. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. Have a great rest of your day. I hope you enjoy this. I really do. Peace and happiness.